your business make it through this challenging times. But I was also so impressed by the list of people that signed up for this course. And I've been to that store. I love that store. Oh man, it's such a joy. Going to that store is a tradition for me. All these things. And I realized that in a selfish way, it's not just wanting, you to survive for you. It's like our community needs you. Our community needs your store to survive. Our community needs your services and needs your goods. It's really important, and you hire people, and it's just, your business is more than just your livelihood. It helps the whole community. So this class, yes, of course, we want you to be able to stay in business and thrive and adapt to the new times, but our community needs you. We need you. So thank you for stepping up. And I know that this is outside of some people's comfort zones. There may be a reason why you don't have an online store yet, or even a website yet, and it can be daunting. And fortunately, Barry's here to help you through that. So just a little bit about privacy. Obviously, we're chatting here. This is being recorded. So anything that you want to keep private, just keep it private, because this is public, and it will be recorded and available for other people to view later. So if you have any issue with that, please, maybe you could see the video afterwards or something, but just really keep that in mind. Something about expectations. So if you kind of gathered from the application that we're taking things pretty seriously here. This is a coming together of so many organizations. So many people have already, there's hundreds and hundreds of hours volunteered already putting into this program and other aspects of what's going on with the entire Rebound Nevada County. And we're doing it for you and our community. And we're just expecting the same level of commitment from you. This is a very ambitious goal of getting 50 businesses online by June 1st. That's pretty monumental, and it's going to take a lot of work. So what the Rebound Nevada County team is doing is providing you as many resources as possible. This class being one of them. So that's why in the application it was like, please show up to all of the classes. There's going to be homework. There's going to be, you're going to just know what you need to do to finish, across that finish line of a June 1st, even if it's just picking 10 products, taking pictures of them, putting them online, and getting it so someone can actually buy something. And that will be a huge success. So we have obviously this class. The SBDC has consultants that can be free to you. And Jess Carr is here from the SBDC, and they are a, I have my screen sharing right now. Maybe I'll put it on my face. Anyways, so the SBDC has one-on-one business advisors that are available to you in so many different disciplines that if you need help with finance or strategy, they're here to help, and Jess can tell you a little bit more about that in a second. On sierracommons.org, Business Igniter resources. I'm starting to compile a list of resources available to you. One thing that's brand new is a business resiliency kit. If you want to, or in the process of reopening your brick and mortar, there's all these steps, and some of them are Nevada County specific for that. The class syllabus, and eventually as we go through the class, people say, oh, well, we'll upload that. Well, that's where you go. You go to the resources page. And then we have the Rebound Nevada County consultant team, where there's a list of, I think right now there's like 16 different consultants from a variety of disciplines who are offering at minimum to donate 2 hours of their time to this effort, as well as more time at a very reduced rate. That portion of this program is sponsored by the Nevada County Economic Resource Council, so thank you for that. So we're really pulling out all the stops. I'm glad you're here, you're showing up. We're gonna do 5 days of this, and then after, we're gonna be working with you, and you're gonna be working hard to get your store up. And so with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Jess Carr. Jess is with the Sierra Small Business Development Center and the Sierra Business Council, and again, a huge sponsor of this overall project. So Jess, take it away.
Thanks, Robert. I am Jessica Carr. Most people call me Jess. I'm the Associate Director of the Sierra Small Business Development Center at Sierra Business Council. It's a total mouthful, but we are one program of many at Sierra Business Council, and our program covers all of Nevada County, and we also cover Placer County, El Dorado County, Plumas County, Sierra County, Lassen County, and Modoc County. So we have a big region. We are primarily a one-on-one business advising program. We are completely no cost to the client. We're a program of the SBA, the Small Business Administration. We also receive funding from the state of California and then from local, private, and public partners. So we work closely with a lot of different government agencies and chambers of commerce and other partners to kind of access the small business community and provide business advising. Like Robert said, we have 15 advisors right now on our staff, and then we also have access to a larger region. We're part of the entire Northern California region of small business development centers. And through that network, we have access to specialized advisors, including one that will be one of your teachers in this course. Her name's Veronica Manel. And then we have like a restaurant targeted group and a finance targeted group. We have different specialty advisors who cross the whole Northern California region to share their expertise. So it's a really cool program. It's been a very well kept secret for a long time, but it's been around since the 80s, actually since the 60s in one form or another. And we are just happy to be here and be able to help people through a lot of issues. Primarily over the last 2 months, we've been helping a lot of folks through those various government resources that are out there and confusing. So our advisors are doing a lot of hands-on work with that. We are very happy to be a part of this program, and big thanks to Robert Trent for inspiring it, spearheading it, organizing it, everything. Robert is also an SBDC advisor, so he wears a lot of hats, as you all know. And most of you signed up on our website to become a client of the SBDC in order to sign up for this workshop. If you didn't, I will follow up with you. We are only able to perform these services for free because we have to keep track of our activities. Everything we do is confidential, but we track our economic impact, the program's economic impact in the area. So we do ask for a couple of sign up hoops to go through for clients. So I'll be following up if that didn't happen, but most of you did, so thank you so much. And I'm not able to stay on the whole thing today, but I'll hope to tune back in as the week progresses, and I can't wait to work with all of you in the future. So thanks, Robert. And I can answer Paul Daniel's question in the chat. When you started video, it may have coincided with the same time that Robert stopped screen sharing and started speaker view. So he'll screen share again. When it's time for the presentation, you'll get that desktop back.
Thanks, Jess. And it's really been wonderful working with SBDC. And if you go to sierrasbdc.com, there's an apply now button, and that's how you access the free one-to-one business consulting. So great, let's get to it. Barry Friedman is our main presenter today. And just a little bit about Barry. I'll just have to admit, I've known Barry for 20 years. We're buddies, and I've seen his career blossom. Barry is, when I first met him, he was traveling around the world juggling. He's a multiple-time world juggling champion. I know he's been on Carson and performed in front of presidents and maybe the Queen. I mean, the list goes on and on. Opened for Robin Williams on the Las Vegas Strip, and just, big time entertainer. And as I saw Barry's career change over time, he really got a passion for helping other entertainers break into the business, realizing that there's a lot of business skills and not just juggling skills that got him where he is today. And that has just really taken off. And don't want to speak for you, Barry, but I think this is the new passion. If you had to choose between the two, he'd definitely pick helping people like you. So Barry, I'll let you take it from here. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Hey, so good to see you guys. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Jess, for putting this together. I was this weekend on a 3-day, I did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on the internet's largest virtual conference. It was 2,200 paid attendees from all over the world, and I got to present on this, and it's great. My screen looked about the same. I could scan across just as long as I wanted to, left or right, scrolling on Zoom, countless screens of 50 people on a screen, and it was overwhelming. The main presenter of this thing was in North Carolina in a warehouse that was built for this. It was a live streaming studio, and he had in front of him 10 monitors with 200 people on each. The numbers are insane. So we're in this crazy new place. So I'm really excited to see you guys here. Yeah, and as Robert said, some of the folks I recognize here. The woman, the double M lady there, Marnie Marshall. I love her. She's amazing. In 2014, we spent a lot of time in a dance studio together, and we were Nevada County Dancing with Our Stars champions for 2014. Marnie! Also, the last time I danced. But it was great. You will see something about me when I sat down next to Marnie the first time when we got our partners and met. I don't know if she remembers this, but I sat down next to her and I said, I only do these things to win. And she was like, damn. So that's what I'm bringing to the game. It's like, I always do things to win. And if we're here playing in this game, I'm here to help you guys win, whatever you can. And I put some slides together because my mind can go a million miles an hour, especially when I start seeing people I love. But I just wanted to, say hello. Love these names. If any of you else want to come on screen, it's really nice to see faces. If we were meeting at Sierra Commons or at SBDC, some big center somewhere, we would certainly be able to look around and see each other. So to whatever extent you're comfortable with that, I would love to see faces. And yeah, wow, gosh, great people. Heather, I think I've spent room in an exam office with. Aaron, I've definitely had dinner with a number of times, and and it keeps scanning. So I love this. Great to see you guys. All right, good. Let me share this. Let me pop over to here. You should be hopefully seeing my screen right now. In fact, let's just do a quick check. Just put in the chat if you are. I'd like to be able to just know. If you're on a mobile device, you can scan all the way to the left to see the screen share. Zoom is only somewhat weird. But yeah, let me just, I got the chat up on a little screen here. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Good, you guys. Very cool. And do this as another practice of the chat box. If we've hung out somewhere, just put in the chat box where we've hung out. It'll bring back good memory to me. All right, very good. So my name is Barry Friedman. Today I'm going to talk about the pivotal mindset because, wow, what you guys are thinking about and what you're doing and this ambitious mission of this project by June 1st. For one thing, I'll talk about it later in the presentation, but I love a deadline. I love a deadline. I always got my excitement. I was all those years of performing in all those places Rob mentioned, and I'll show you a couple of them. I was always the guy in the wings, just whoever was introducing us, just going, shut up, put me on. Like, I love the deadline. I love when things start. So I'm really blessed to be here at the kickoff of this as it begins, because that is the time that sets everything up. And Rob asked me to talk about mindset. So let's dig into that. Yeah, so thank you to everyone who's gotten me here, asked me to do this. I'm going to do a super quick Zoom 101 because some people may have not been on this. If you're on mobile, things are down on the very bottom. If you're on a desktop or an iPad or something, it looks a lot more like this. The chat box I know you guys are already using, which is awesome. You may or may not have a Q&A depending on how this meeting's set up. But if you do ask a question in the chat, I just ask that you put a capital Q before it, or you put the whole question in caps, or I won't think you're yelling at me, but it does make it easy to scan through and kind of see what's going on there. Yeah, good. And we can come back and hit all those up. I'm going to ask you at 1 or 2 points to do a poll that'll just appear on your screen, even if you're on mobile, and you just vote on that. In fact, we will probably dig in and do one of those just a little quickly. You know what? Let's just, for the fun of it, let's do this. Let's throw one up right now because this will be interesting. Let's try the simplest poll we could possibly do. Let's do this one. This will be great. Yeah, let's do this one. Let's try this. Let's try. Oh my gosh, are they all on there at once? I don't want to do all of them at once. No, let's stop that for a second. That's not good. Let me end that for a second. I didn't want to do that. I may have done these wrong. Shoot. All right, no problem. I'm going to kill the polls. Stop them. All right, no problem. I think I put them all in one big question. That was my mistake. My bad. Rob, did you see more than one question when that just came up, or was it just one?
No, I didn't see any, and I think you need to probably change the sharing setting is my guess. Could be wrong.
Oh, okay, let me just try one more time. Give me 1 more second. Share results, relaunch polling, relaunching will clear existing. Attendees are now viewing questions. Yeah, I don't want to do all these. No problem, you guys. They were just for fun. In fact, let me just do it this way. Stick in the comments if you've done Zoom before, if you're very comfortable with it or not too comfortable, and I'll just know how much input to kind of add along the way. I want to make this quick and not, yeah, you saw questions. Okay, done Zoom with questions, very comfortable, pretty comfortable. Cool, comfortable. Our first time, okay, good. I'll keep an eye on that for you guys, still learning, use Zoom a few times. Okay, good. I'll let Rob kind of drive that stuff. If things aren't clear, I'll leave that over to him. So Zoom is where I kind of work right now. It's funny, you can get a free account. If you're interested in it, if it works well for you, you can get a free account and actually jump on calls. My wife did an amazing thing for me on April 15th. She had set up the surprise party with people from all parts of my life, and it was unbelievable. She just said, come and sit in here, and like all of a sudden, people from years ago. So as we're in this time of quarantine, it's wonderful to be able to use things like this to create and connect. So I will just offer that to you. And I think we'll skip the polls for today. It doesn't matter. They probably could have gone better, but yeah, I was going to tell you they are confidential, but I'm not even doing them. So let me talk about this. Why the pivotal mindset? We are in a time of something else. There is no doubt about it. Millions of discussions to have about what it is, when it is, how it's going to last. And it's definitely beyond the scope of what I'm doing today. And probably this whole group, because it's not out our windshield. It's not along the lines of the goal, the mission of this project. So we can leave that behind and just agree that we are in a time of something else. And this morning we begin a week that'll focus on options for pivoting, you know, where you guys are at and what you want to do with this. Taking what you're currently doing and recreating it in one form or another, or crazy thought of crazy thoughts, using this time to actually create something brand new, and possibly somewhere in between, a hybrid of those two. So stay open to all of that. Let's do, and I was gonna do this on a quiz, but I think I'm just gonna do it in the chat, and we can, yeah, we can do it in the chat, no problem, and the organizers of this will still get an idea. Let me ask you this. I want to do kind of a 30,000 foot high in the sky assessment of your need to pivot, all right? And then we'll kind of look at desire and willingness and ability after that. But just right now, your need to pivot into something else. And let's do this in 3 different rounds. Just as far as, let's look at the impact. This will be an interesting way to do this. Let's look at the impact that current times are having on 3 different parts of your life. Let's look at the business side of it, finances. Would you say that this time in your life, what's happening in the world right now is having a really high impact on finances for you? moderate, or not at all. And let's just use the chat. You can just say high, moderate, none. I mean, let's keep it simple. I want to just get a big picture view. Yeah, okay, a lot of highs and moderates. Okay. A few nones. Good. Okay. Thank you for that. Really high. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep this in mind here. This is actually better than the polls because I'm just getting a quick picture, not having to do anything else. Let's keep it there for the financial. We got that one. Let's look at emotional. Is what's happening right now in the world as far as emotions, relationships, how you're doing with that. High, medium, not at all. Okay. Stunned, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's funny, my brain is running around right now thinking, wow, these polls were all anonymous, and how much is running through people's brains right now if I don't want to be tagged to this. So I invite you to whatever extent possible to put that thought aside and come from what's inside of you right now. This mindset work we're doing today is going to set the basis for how willing and quickly you respond, take action. So yeah, do that. So good, I see that. And let's look at the health. How would you say this is affecting your health? High impact, high, medium, not at all? What's happening right now? Low, and I'm so glad. Yeah, good. So here's my super big thank you. Yeah, that's great. Medium, more time to exercise and rest. Yeah, that's the thing, sure. Here's what's, here's the cool thing that's coming up for me as I look at this. These answers, financially, there's some impact people are feeling. Emotions, relationship, there's some impact, some high and mediums. And then health is fairly low, which means this is great. We're here, we're present. We can create the next chapter because our health is here. And we can work on the other two. But right now we have the health, we have the ability. And clearly, just from the financial one, a lot of people said there's a need to do it. So with that being high and the health, the ability to be able to do it, we're in a really, really good place. So the pivotal mindset we're going to talk about today, pivoting is, let me see if I can get all this triggered. There we go. So pivotal is adjective, right? The crucial importance in relation to the development or success of something else. And right now we are creating something else. That's what we're doing. That's why I'm going to talk about the mindset today, because boy, if we could just stay the same, we're in a great place. But mindset, the mindset piece, the established set of attitudes held by someone. This is the basis of our willingness and ability to pivot. What we're talking about in here, a stuck mindset will equal a stuck business, a stuck life, whereas an agile mindset gives you the key to freedom, unlimited possibility. So I want to do a quick introduction because I don't know all you guys, but if you did really know me, you'd know that I'm a 4-time world juggling champion, been married to my best friend for 32 years. We have an 18-year-old son. Dude means the world to me. He's thinking the world may go back to normal. He got accepted to the university of his dreams down in Southern California, to Chapman University, where he's hopefully going to be studying film for 4 years starting in the fall, and we'll see how all that goes. That's the stuff that's inside of me. If you really knew me, you'd also know I spent 4 years on the road as an opening act for Tom Jones, 6 years for Robin Williams, 6 years with Billy Crystal, Gary Shandling, and Lou Rawls, and Dana Carvey, Dennis Miller, all these fun things. 4 years as an opening act for Howie Mandel. And that one was really fun because Howie liked to tour on a Learjet, and we got to kind of do that. So, you know, when people talk about that zero gravity flight, he was such a joker, man. He always had his pilots take off at this steep angle and level out really quickly. So we had like a minute of free floating every flight. So I got to do backflips in the air and push each other around in there and play Howie hockey, we used to call it, when we just shoved him up and down the airplane. So kind of fun experiences that came from all this. Yeah, Patty, I mentioned. Spent a lot of years on the road doing shows for corporate audiences, TED Talks, 6 main stage TED Talks, without having ever invented or cured anything, I must say, because TED speakers are just so pretentious about what they do. My partner and I got to go out there and make jokes and have fun with it. So really fun. And then the Tonight Show, great experiences playing on that level. And if you really knew me, you'd know that all this started with this man who was my high school guidance counselor, who when I was 17, getting ready to launch into the world, told me that if I followed my dreams, I'd be broke and homeless by the time I reached age 22. So I still laugh when I think about Mr. Pav. I was behind the curtain at the Tonight Show, getting ready to go out and stage. And I just thought, man, I hope Mr. Pavliga's watching so he never tells another kid that. So the power of our words and our actions and what we do, they have impact. And we're doing that. I looked him up online recently and found he passed away in Las Vegas in 2009. So if he did keep a tag on his past students, yeah, he got to see that I did pretty well after all that. February 18th, 2007, I was at the Mardi Gras parade in Nevada City. I'm sure a lot of us were there. It was a beautiful day. It was a crazy time, you know, almost unimaginable in these days today because we were gathered. There were literally hundreds of us on the streets just hanging out and enjoying a cold beverage together and watching floats go by of some of our favorite businesses and hanging out with our friends and seeing each other. But in my world, February 18th, 2007, after the parade, a good friend of mine I bumped into at the parade, said, let's go mountain biking later today. And I hit my personal version of the COVID virus, jumped in at that point. Beautiful flight on a mountain bike ended in a terrible crash, which ended me up in Sierra Memorial Hospital. My collarbone was split into 5 pieces. Whew, hard to look at that picture. And life was not the same. Had surgery a few days later, and they put that little pin that I'm holding in that picture inside my arm like a shish kebab, holding the 5 pieces of my collarbone back together. And it's a 6-month recovery to get that thing to stitch and be back together. So it was 6 months of no juggling, 6 months of no performing, 6 months of not doing what I love doing for a living, what was paying for my life and my son and our house and my lifestyle and everything. So I asked myself some questions. I said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Was Mr. Pavliga right? Was he just wrong about the date? Would I be broke and homeless? All these questions that came around. It was so crazy. What I knew for sure, though, it was my time to pivot. The seed had been planted. Much like today's situation, the seed's been planted and we all have to do something a little bit different. Well, I was sitting on a couch. Well, actually, I was sitting in this big lounge chair because it was the only place I could sit and not hurt my arm. I had this like 12-pound sandbag that I left on my arm because when it flinched involuntarily, I get these shooting pains in my arm, and it was just horrendous pain. So I put this heavy sandbag on my arm just so it wouldn't move. And I was sitting there, and I just said to my wife, what if I can't ever juggle again? What am I going to do? And she had this great line. Man, she had a great line. She said, you're really good at booking a juggling act for a lot of money. I was like, wow, you know, it was just so mind-boggling. It was one of those moments, like, I mean, it was crazy money. Like performing at corporate events, you may think now when you hear the word juggler, I'm going to assume that you think what I used to think and what everyone thinks is you can do birthday parties for $150, or you can maybe work at a festival if you're really good and make $300 or $400 a day. I went to a crazy level. Back in around 86, I was very key in creating what's now known, post-COVID known as the corporate entertainment market. We don't even know where that's going right now. That I was very big in establishing what's now known as a very good industry for entertainers. You have anonymity, huge demand, plenty of money they have to spend, and I created a career and a life that was unbelievable. Booking a juggling act for anywhere from, at the beginning, $2,500 for a 1-hour show, to the end where I was doing $25,000 for a 1-hour show at a sales event for pharmaceutical companies, equipment companies, computer technology companies, medical, trade shows. It was just a remarkable career that I helped to, that I built, and a market that I helped to establish. But what happened when all of that looked like it was coming to an end after that surgery in 2007 was, it was my time to pivot. My wife told me I was really good at juggling, booking a juggling act for a lot of money, and I took that to heart. I started thinking about, wow, there's so many entertainers in the world who maybe don't have that skill. And I say that tongue in cheek, because absolutely, they did not have that skill at all. What they had was great acts. And it was funny, I was in a partnership for 34 years, my entire career, with another man. We were called Raspini Brothers. You saw him in some of those pictures. And I was always so interested in the business side of it. And he was always so interested in the creative side of it. So as you guys know, as business owners, we all have 1 or 2, 3 sets of skills, but it takes about a dozen to run a business properly. So we get partners. And if we're super lucky, we end up with a partner who jives with us, who we don't have to fight with. There's honesty, there's integrity between us. And boy, I hit the jackpot on every single one of those cards. It was really, really lucky. And that led to a wonderful career, but I always focused on the business side of it. So one of the skills that I was able to really use to start my pivot was this one, as I did. And I created my very first online product. I just said, wow, maybe I can create something. In 2009, I put online for the first time, Get More Corporate Gigs. It was a site for entertainers. It was a site for entertainers where I talked about the strategies, techniques, professional tips, networking, how to sell your act, how to listen, how to build relationships. And I went a little crazy, and I had 6 months sitting in a chair. So I went a little nuts, and I just had a superb time building this program, put it out. I think it was my first time ever making money. And feel free to throw a comment in this, because this is bizarre. It was my first time ever making money without juggling. At 2009, I must have been about 45 years old or something, 47 years old. My first time ever making money without juggling, which is so remarkable considering most people had been decades making money doing something that they had trained in college or perfected. And it was something else. So Get More Corporate Gigs was wonderful, and it was a beginning. And what I found out was there is a possibility online that I never even knew about. I was a guy who would look up things on Google and book my flights online, but I never thought of doing anything like this or using the internet as a way to expand what my possibilities in this world. That led to a private group coaching program called Showbiz Blueprint, which I started running in 2011. This program went up, Get More Corporate Gigs was $27 a month. Had a couple hundred members in that thing, and it was all right. I saw the possibility. I saw the proof of concept, which is I know what you guys are going for on this thing. Once I saw that, 2 years later, I developed a group coaching program. This thing is a $2,000 program. I still run it to this day. It's the top of my business funnel, and from here it goes on to mastermind groups and platinum groups and challenges and private coaching. So this has turned into a remarkable business for me that would have never happened without the collarbone break many, many, many moons ago on the backside of Empire Mind, not too far from where we all are right now. So this is the thing, and the impossible, right? That it was impossible that Mr. Pavliga told me. He had no idea what he was starting. And then on November 4th, 2016, I did the impossible again. I retired from performing. I walked away from 34 years on stage. It was time to do something different with my life. And I don't even know what it was so much, except that in my gut, I knew it was time. And every entrepreneur on this call knows to trust their gut. I'm sure, yeah, we love to look at data. We love to compare. And I always say at the beginning of comparison is the end of happiness. So I'm always careful with that one. But there is, we can look out the window and say, wow, I wish I had this, or wish I looked like that. But boy, at our cores, the entrepreneur is made and destroyed by his ability, her ability to listen to the gut and trust the instincts. Because often the road that we walk doesn't have signs on it. Sometimes it's not a well-cleared trail. We have to be responsible for the decisions we make. And I listened to that one on November 4th, 2016. Other businesses had stepped in, had started doing a good enough job that I had replaced the income that I was making from performing. I replaced a livable wage. I'll say that. It was a very good livable wage. It was hard to match juggling money, as I call it. But also that career went in and out with a dot-com bust, financial crisis, Y2K, 9/11, past coronaviruses. There's been a number of times when that business was threatened. And all of those times I learned to use my marketing chops to continue. This one we're in right now is literally just another one. One of the strange things about this one is we don't know how long it'll last. And that's really one of the big pieces of the pivot that Rob, Jess, and this entire project is aimed at creating for you, is something that is sustainable, even when we go back to having people walk into our shops, eat at our restaurants. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Everything that we're going to talk about in this program is something that can be added on. The virtual world will not go away. I mentioned this workshop, this conference that I was at with 2,200 paid attendees this last weekend. It was proof of concept beyond belief that to bring 2,000 people together in one place, in one big convention center, may not be as necessary as we always believed it was. And that's going to be one of the big shakeups from this thing. So what we get to do is learn to pivot, adopt, and incorporate as we go back. And the stages along that, you know, we're going to look for survival. How can we survive? And then how can we stabilize? What's it going to look like to stabilize? And then what's it going to look like to grow? And boy, got some great speakers this week touching into this and the mindset piece that we're going to be talking about today. And what we're talking about is going to do it. This was scary as hell for me. And I knew it was time to pivot. And from what we put in the chat earlier about, you know, is it important that all of us pivot? Yeah, on the financial side, it looked like it was. On the emotional side, it looked like it was. And on the health side, it looks like you have the strength to do it. So I love that. I think it's we're in a good place to do this thing. I had a super long runway. I did my first project 2009. That juggling, that accident, the surgery put me off performing for 6 months. So by November of 2007, I was back on the road, going pretty well. There was that financial crash of 2008. The recession slowed it down a little bit, but for the most part, I was back to performing. But something had been planted. A seed was planted. And I knew there was certainly no going back to full-time performer. All of us as entrepreneurs have had seeds planted and they grew into what we had. It was funny. I looked at this list of everyone here and it just cracked me up. I'm like, wow, like all these businesses, like Rob said at the beginning, like the places we know, the restaurants we eat at, the stores we visit, the people we interact with, everyone's here. And nobody, I asked Rob, like, was this court ordered? Or are they all here for some kind of grant? And he's like, no, people want to do this. So, you know, hats off to you. So I'm glad we'll set you guys up for all the success, because there's so much coming up this week that's about, you know, using your mouse and designing this and taking this photo, and without starting with the mindset piece and really figuring out where it plays into our strengths and our fears and our risks we're willing to take. We're going to be in a little bit of trouble if we don't have that stuff in place. So I had this super long runway, and this time the runway, as you know, is shorter, right? I mean, we're already halfway down the runway. The great thing about this is Parkinson's law. I don't know how many people are familiar with this, but I will state it real simply. Parkinson's law says that a task will expand to fill the amount of time it's given. And I'm sure you've all felt this. If you have an hour to do something, you kick its butt in an hour. If that same task you have a week, you can use all week to fill it. It's just the way it is. This is a 1-week course, 2 hours every morning for 5 days. My gosh, Parkinson himself is jumping for joy at your opportunity right now, because what you can achieve in that time is kind of mind-boggling. If Rob and Jess said we're going to do this by the end of 2020, holy cow. For one thing, it wouldn't even be pertinent anymore. You know, right now, the power we have to do this in a week, to create something, and it doesn't have to be perfect. All it has to be is just follow what every instructor is teaching you, dig in, take the risks, face the fears, use your strengths. Like, those are the 3 things I really want to do this. So let me ask you this. How willing are you? How willing are you to do something that takes your business online? It's snowing. Oh, that must be an old comment, because that's not a great answer. Very good. Drop it in the chats. Very willing. Very. Love it. All right. This is excellent. Oh, happy, happy. Thank you. What a great place to be starting from. Heck yes. Love it. Thank you, guys. It might be too warm in here. Already started is so good. Yeah, it's the only option. Look at Aaron. You know, Aaron, I know you're running somewhere where people can't gather right now. So, yeah, so, you know, and for some businesses, very willing. I love this. Yeah, worried the computer skills are required. Boy, there's great news about that, Heather. I'll cover that in a minute. Speeding down the runway. Good, with a short runway, man. I was a pilot too. I used to fly, and we used to have to do these things called short field takeoffs. Oh my gosh, it was fun. You stood there at the end of the runway. You guys ever been in a plane? If you've ever flown into John Wayne Airport or out of John Wayne Airport, you've experienced a short field takeoff. It's this amazing feeling. The pilot has the brakes, both feet on the brakes as hard as they can. Rev the engine up to full. And the thing is just, it's like trying to hold a bull back at a rodeo. Then you lift the brakes off, and that feeling when you take out of John Wayne Airport, used to have to do those. So short runway, throttle it full. I love seeing somebody said that. Way to go. All right, good. So Parkinson's Law, we're going to keep going, and I love this. People have started our first online exhibit already, but have no idea where to go next. Perfect. That's what later in the week's going to be. And I'll tell you guys one thing, that whole idea of not having any idea, that is 100% welcome in this session. I can't speak for the other instructors, the other leaders you have during this week, but in my world here, in the mindset, having no idea is actually kind of a wonderful thing. It's a blank canvas from which to create. And it's the agility, it's that agile mindset that I spoke about at the very beginning. That's a healthy place to be right now. And it's expected, normal, and we can work with it. All right, good. So the good news, and this is very good news, experience and story rules the day. This week, you're going to learn a whole lot of the tools, you know, and I said that, you're going to drag your mouse here. You're going to take these photos. This is what it's going to look like, what platform you're going to use, all that stuff. Today, I was asked to set you up for success as you pivot. And there are questions of what this might look like. You know, what do I bring to the equation? What can I do? Or as somebody just wrote, you know, I have no idea where to go next. How do I make it more robust? No clue. Worried about computer skills. Yeah. And it's not an option for my business. Yeah. Okay. So I can tell you that to transfer to the online world, experience, story, it matters. Transparency is the economy in this. And it may not look like a campground. It may not look like a restaurant right now. It may not look like a restaurant the way you've been running it. It may not look like a store. It may not look like a festival. It may not look like a theater, right? Like the Center for the Arts. Community versus commodity. This week, what I really hope you get from every instructor is that there is high value in community, connection. And to some extent, that's what the successful online experience can bring to people. You will not compete on commodity. Rule that out. It's going to be really difficult. There has to be some story. There has to be some transparency. There has to be a sense of, as Seth Godin says, people like us do things like this. You have to find a way to build that community, because the commodity thing is handled by bigger companies than any of us could ever want to be. Could ever be or may want to be. Let me say it that way. So what can we do to create community? Get that word at least on your notes and start scribbling something under it. Because the earlier we start thinking about that, the more we start attracting the ideas that will blossom into what eventually will be this new version of us that includes an online presence. As we go through this, know that perfection, that quest for perfection, will kill your progress. Sad as it is, all of us who love to have every corner tucked in, all the paint matching, every word spelled perfectly, every picture aligned, every caption in its right place, every box the right size, all of that stuff. I invite you to know that that will kill your progress. And you know what's really cool about that? That story, that community, that transparency that I talked about a second ago, it covers all of that. We just did this big conference, this 2,200 person conference, and we called it the Scrappy Meeting. It was like, we called it that. We had presenters all over the world, and we just said from the beginning, we've never done this. 3 weeks ago, we didn't know we were going to be doing it, and now we're 2,200 people gathered from around the world in every time zone. We had 24 time zones represented in that thing. And we just, that was what it was. And you know what? It was so perfect, and people were so grateful and thankful for it all. So that's something that we can do. And that transparency, that openness, that this is what we're doing because we care. That is perfection. And that encourages progress. Know that as you do this, change will take change. Nothing's going to happen on its own. I did a scrappy project in 2012. I stopped eating sugar for Leap Day. My son, 9 years old, said, "What are you going to leap for Leap Day?" I said, "I'm going to leap sugar." We were just eating this thing from Culture Shock. We were at Culture Shock down in Grass Valley, and we were eating this big frozen yogurt. Oh, I wish I had a picture of that. I didn't get the picture of it, but it was this like extra large cup, and it had the gummy bears and the peanut butter cups and the M&Ms and the, you know, just all this stuff. And we had just finished eating, and I felt so disgusted. Like my teeth, I could feel my pulse in my teeth. I ate so much sugar. It was just intense. My heart was banging. And he says, "What are you going to leap for Leap Day?" which was the next day. And I said, "I'm going to leap sugar." And here we are on May 18th of 2020, and I do not eat foods with processed sugar, any more foods with processed sugar in them. And it's been over 8 years. Actually, I had a true anniversary this year because it was a leap year. So every 4 years, I get a true anniversary on the 29th. But pretty amazing. But you know what I did out of that? I went with this idea of this scrappy way back when, and I wrote this book called I Love Me More Than Sugar. I ran around and performed on, I got the book right here. I went and did 25 TV shows in 6 weeks, news programs all over the country. Scrappy, just having fun and talking to people about a life without sugar. Talking about my book, putting it out there. I created an online course called 30 Days Sugar Free. I sold all the assets to that a couple years ago when I realized it wasn't my thing anymore. But you know, when I left, almost 20,000 people had experienced 30 days sugar free, and none of it was perfect. Absolutely none of it was perfect. I had to hire people. I had to just kind of say, well, this is good enough for now. But I built a community. Didn't worry about perfection. was transparent about it the whole time. I just, all right. I hope that audio is not going on there. This is great. But really use my skills. I brought what I had as an entertainer to being on TV. Every TV show, I juggled an 8-pound bowling ball, which is the amount of sugar an American eats in 3 weeks. I juggled an apple, which was representing my version of healthy sugar. And then I juggled a tennis racket to exercise. So I just talked about that, but kind of fun, and just did it imperfectly and went along with it. So my invitation to you is that, and again, I brought my strengths that I had, faced the fears, and took risks. Those 3 things. So I'm going to ask you guys to do something right now. You may want to turn off your cameras if you're on, because I'd really like you to partake in this. But I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a second. You're also free to leave your cameras on if you'd like. It's fine. Close your eyes, though. I'll take you just on a quick little journey. I want to take you back to when you started this business that you're doing right now. Picture the time and the place you were at when it was feeling real. You had that spark inside of you. You could picture it, and you felt it in a visceral way. Picture that first time it left your mind, when it was just no longer your idea. Very first time. Maybe it was a year, maybe it was a decade, maybe it was a week before you took action. But that first time it left your mouth and entered somebody else's ear. Remember that feeling? For some of you, it may have been really exciting. For some, it may have been really scary. Yeah. Now go to that time when you first kicked the lights on. Flip that sign around that said open. Grab that feeling. Remember that? Everything that was running through the mind. Did I do this? How does this look? Will they see that? That first time someone handed you their credit card or cash. You had some message about yourself when that happened. May have been wonderful, may have been critical, but there was some message you took on about yourself at that point. And you may have used that to form the way you showed up in the business. Did you pull back? Did you double down? So many emotions and so many thoughts and such a history in each of these businesses. As I scroll down this spreadsheet and just look at the names of all these creations, all these babies that you've put into the world. And it's been a bit of a theme of this meeting already. What were the strengths that you brought to the game? What fears did you have? And what risks have you taken? All right. Open your eyes and come back here. I want to do something. And let's do it in the, just trying to think if I want to do this in the chat or if I want to bring a couple people on. You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to stop sharing for a second here. I want to just call on one or two people, and I'm going to bring on, I think you guys have the ability to unmute yourselves, but I'm just going to call. Actually, let's do this way. If you go down to the
Barry, they can't. I don't think they can unmute themselves.
Okay, I can unmute you guys then. Yeah, I can unmute you guys, and I'd love to do it. Let's do it this way. I'm going to use you guys under the participants. You'll see a little place there to raise your hand. I hope it says that. Do you guys have that? I wonder how this meeting was set up. When I set them up, I always set them up that way. I don't know if you guys have that. Do you have that, Rob?
I think it's under reactions.
Oh, okay, great. Oh yeah, you can do that kind where you can hit the little thumbs up or the thumbs down. There's actually a way to raise hands, but I just don't see it on mine, and maybe you guys don't have.
Samsung has a.
Oh, there we go. Samsung has a hand up. Great. I'm gonna put those hands down. Those couple that you did, Marnie, and you guys who did that, thank you. That at least proves to me I'm a moron and I don't know how to tell you how to do it, but you guys do. Marnie, where did you hit that at? Could you turn that on? Just pop. Oh wait, let me. Do we have to unmute you? Marnie.
Marnie's unmuted.
Okay, where did you find that, Marnie?
Under participants. Oh, am I unmuted? Okay. Under participants, so at the bottom of the screen, where did it go? Now it went away from me. Oh, there it is. Okay, so participants, it says 41. You
Cool.
click that, and then a window pops up on the top right, and it shows all the participants, and then there's a series of options on the bottom. It says raise hand, yes,
Perfect.
no, go slower, faster.
Gotcha.
And it shows up right above chat.
Perfect. All right. Leah did it, so I'm going to assume we can all do that. Perfect. Thanks so much for that. Mine doesn't look like that. I guess I'm a presenter or something, so it's got something a little different. All right, cool. So let's do this. I want to ask you guys, I want to ask a couple people just to come on and share one of these things for me, and I'm going to go in order. I want to hear first, what's a strength that you brought to the business that you started now, that your current business? What's a strength that you brought? Go ahead and click raise your hand, and we'll unmute one or two. I want to hear this, and also feel free to put those in the chat. But if you raise your hand, I'd love to bring you on and ask a couple questions about it. All right, Teresa's fast hand draw, so I'm going to go with you. Hey, Teresa.
Hi. Am I unmuted?
Hey. Hi. Yeah, you're unmuted. I can't hear you too loud, but maybe others can. Are you closer to a mic? Could you get a little?
I suppose I could draw.
Yes.
In.
Oh, I wonder if, yeah, I can. Is everyone having a hard time hearing a little bit? Okay.
My son will come over.
Oh, there you go. If he's under 20, this will be fixed in 1 second.
He's 23,
Yeah.
but
You may have to go in the lower left by the little caret there where it says mute. Just hit that caret and it'll say select microphone. You might be on a different microphone. I'm going to mute Teresa while she figures out if she's on the right microphone. And if somebody else jump in, raise your hand. I'd really love to hear a strength that you brought to your business. I want to ask you a follow-up question or two on it.
Beverly, I've unmuted you. I know that I saw you raise your hand.
Awesome. Hey, Beverly.
Beverly Jordan.
Cool.
Oh, hello.
Hey. Hi, Beverly.
I just adjusted my volume. Can you hear me?
Sounds great. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
What's a strength you brought when you started your business?
Well, I'd been in business before, basically. It was just quite a difference because I went from Los Angeles and Hollywood in the sound industry to Downeyville.
Yeah. What was something you brought when you started the business in Downeyville? What was the quality?
Well, I had a lot of skills like Excel and
Business
word
skills.
processing, things like that, you know.
Okay, awesome. So you brought like hard.
And I also am like 6 generations from Sierra County, so I had that. Everybody,
Gotcha. So a network. Yeah.
I was related, and I still am related to everyone here. So.
Excellent. All right, cool. Thank you. Let's see who else. Oh, Leah had your hands up. Leah, go ahead. What did you bring when you started your business?
I think I brought my authentic self.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just a small little person, and I always just speak from my heart and try to be as genuine as I can be.
Love it.
Other
Love
thing
it.
is, organizational skills.
Gotcha. Perfect. What a good, nice mix. Those are perfect. Thank you. Anna, I think I have you unmuted. Oh, no, I can't. Yeah, there you go. Oh, we're fighting with our mute buttons. Let's see. I saw it say unmute for a second. Yep, there we go. Perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, so I spent many years in corporations. So I'm an electronic engineer by education. And so I brought the sort of scientific and corporate mind. But then I moved into very intuitive world and trying to understand the psychology and emotions and how people react.
Gotcha. Holy cow. You sound like you were extremely agile and willing to change. Very cool. So I love the, oh, and Teresa, let me see if you got your, can we hear you now?
Okay, is that better?
That sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, good. I came into an established business, and my brother actually sort of encouraged me to do that. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, great. Max said that this is supposedly my microphone.
It is. I hear it. Yeah.
Okay. So I had managed a retail shop in San Francisco for 8 years in my 20s.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was a really cool shop with a very creative owner who really didn't have organizational skills. And I was freshly out of college. And she just let me do it all.
Gotcha. You got thrown into the fire.
I got thrown into the fire in my 20s, but I certainly never thought I'd come back to retail because I outgrew it because
Right.
I really didn't like the consumerism. It was just driving me mad. I was, young and more hopeful about the world. And I wanted to return to Nevada City where I was born and raised.
Gotcha.
So I came back, had kids, got married, 7 years later, had kids. And then
Love
my
it.
brother in 2006 suggested we buy this business, which we all loved. And it's a very long-standing local business. So
Dang, I love it. All right. So I'm gonna take you off the hot seat. Congratulations, everybody. Like I just look around, I hear experience, hard skills, intuition, thrown into the fire and just making it happen. And then I also heard a long theme of lineage, of just expectation and what we were, continuing on. So strengths are massive. Every single thing that any one of these classes this week ask you to do is going to ask you to lean into your strength, guaranteed. And also I heard somebody I didn't know how to weave it together, but there was a thing about a network. One of my favorite places to always look is into my network. I mean, I'm just constantly, every day I spend at least an hour a day digging into who can I connect with, what's out there, who can I serve, who can I ask something for. So networks are powerful. Think how good it feels when someone reaches out to you and says, hey, I know you have a strength in this. Would you mind, or could you help me? Maybe you could help me. Fantastic. I want to take another little poke at something here, and I want to ask you, what fears did you have when you started your business, the business that's happening right now? And you guys can raise your hands on those. That's great. Now we're all hand-raising pros, I know. Love to hear some other voices too, in addition to some of the ones we had before. That's great. We can definitely have more voices. But let's perfect. Let's hit up Paul. What fears did you bring when you started this, Paul? Oh, I can't unmute you. Some people, it doesn't let me unmute. I don't know what that's about. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
You're
all
up.
right, great. Yeah, my video is not working for some reason.
No problem,
so,
Paul. It's great.
All right. Great. Yeah, a fear faced is it's just something people are really going to be into. I'm passionate about it, and I love sharing the message, and I love telling the stories. I'm a jewelry maker. I make handmade jewelry, and I deal in crystals. So it's I love them, and I love to go out and find them, and I love to share it with the community. But is this something that people are actually going to support? Is my art good enough? All that kind of stuff. Putting yourself out there.
Love that, man. Thank you so much. Boy, we could jump to the end of the class. Am I good enough? That was the, I heard, that's always one that's running around. And am I good enough to do this? Is this enough for me? All right, you guys, I want to see some other hands up, and I'm going to go with Teresa. No, totally. I'd appreciate you doing that, but I would love to get like everyone's voice in this. What's a fear you brought to this?
Well, I appreciate hearing from everyone as well.
Yeah,
you just brought up something that really struck me, and I had to write it down because I am fearful of asking other people for help. And I don't know where that comes from. And I hope to gain strength in that, because I feel like pivoting right now, it's going to require my gaining strength in that.
Thank you so much for that. Wow. Miles ahead. I'm so glad you're having that realization. Like you came with that instead of figuring it out on Friday going, shoot, I wish I knew that about myself. Yeah, you guys tattoo Teresa's words on your arm right there. Ask for help. Good stuff. Becky, what you got?
I think one of the biggest fears in trying something new for me is not knowing what I don't know. What are those hidden surprises that I don't know what I need to be prepared for?
Gotcha. So not even knowing. Oh, that's so good. Gotcha. Thank you so much. Love that. Yeah, just not knowing what you don't know yet.
Barry, I just want to interrupt for a second. There's been a request for people to, if you do share, if you also be willing to share what business you're in.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. Heather, what you got?
I'm Jacobson Chiropractic, and I think two things I'm noticing that is keeping me from moving forward is, one, I don't even though I was raised here and everything, I actually really value my privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of what I sell as a chiropractor is myself. And I'm fine being transparent and all of that in my treatment room and with people that I'm already kind of comfortable with, and like my sort of smaller community. But I have a real reluctance to go out into like a larger world beyond my community. And just like, I don't think it's based in like lack of self-confidence, but part of it is just not liking social media platforms of how people trash each other. So part of it is like not wanting to be part of some of that professionally, but also just like liking my privacy and not wanting to be part of these bigger structures that I don't love. You know, it reminds me of the woman talking earlier about like, why be in retail when I don't want people to buy things? You know, it's like I don't really like a lot of the bigger structures. And so I've been really resistant about writing blogs and things like that, because I just don't feel like that's helpful for people to get, you know. So anyway, I have this, that has really kept me from moving forward.
Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. Ooh, a lot there. So those fears, and it's great. I heard some of the ones that you've had with you like a long time, and then some that are cropping up in this this new normal kind of piece that we're stepping into, and where those are. Oh, Anna's got one more. Let's just do one more quick fear that you had either when you ran your business, or could you unmute, Anna? Maybe you can unmute yourself, or maybe it's Anna.
Okay, so I was bringing something new to the party, like new ideas, new concepts. So I was afraid how people will react to that. And I also was afraid whether I will be able to support myself, because I'm by myself and I was starting something new, something I wasn't established in, and I didn't have much savings.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Wow. You guys, so this list, I was just writing down as we did this, you know, being alone, will anyone want it? What I do, am I good enough? Help, not knowing what I don't know, my privacy. Yeah. How will they react? Can I support myself? All so real. So many different times in our lives, we walk through those little fires and come out. All right, last thing I want to do, because this completes this little triad of just, you know, what do we have to face to do this? The last thing I would love to hear a handful of us speak up on is, and Micheline, I see your hand up there, and maybe that was for the last one, but I'm going to grab you first for this one. I'm going to put you on the spot, even though you didn't do it. I'm going to ask you, what's a risk you're willing to take? And it doesn't have to be huge, doesn't have to be massive, but I just would love for everybody, and even if you do it in the chat. Oh, and I see there's some great ones in the chat. Thank you. I didn't look over it and catch those, but thank you for those who spoke up and put your line in the sand about the ones we've done. What's a risk you're willing to take to do this? I'm going to, and I vamped enough to give Micheline, I think that's how you pronounce it, enough time to think. Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
Can I
good to see you.
talk? Oh, you can see you. Hi.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah.
I think even just starting this class, to be honest, is a risk.
Just
being willing. I came in late. I'm probably going to be one of the people that actually has to come in late every day. And that was almost stopped me from even coming in today.
Thank you for that risk. Awesome.
Yeah.
Way to take it. Great. Hey, who else has their hand up for a risk? A risk you started a risk you took when you did your business, when you started the one you're currently doing. Everyone has got one of those. And then a bonus cookies for a risk you're willing to take moving forward into this part. Samsung, and I maybe you'll have to know who you are because I can't tell from that name. If you have a Samsung, start talking. All right. Okay, Samsung. Nope, not going to get that. Okay, no problem. You muted yourself. Couple more risks that you took when you started the business you're in right now. Everybody took them. Going. All right, I'll hit the comments because maybe people are this is interesting to see. I love this. All right. Risk of self-employment, massive. My gosh. The only thing scarier than the risk of self-employment is the risk of working for somebody else. I'll just, as somebody who's been self-employed their entire life, that always seemed like the biggest risk to me was getting a job where someone else where someone else had their hands on the throttle and the yoke. Yeah. So learning new computer skills and all the mistakes it entails, that's great. To rethink how my coworkers and members have an order. Yeah, to keep social distancing, big risk. Yeah. Just want to make sure I'm at the right one. Good. Yeah, leaving the 9 to 5. Holy cow, Heather. Ooh. Yeah, I really feel like you guys who are, especially someone like Heather, who's in, the health world and the privacy requirements and the laws. I mean, this is massive. So this is a little bit beyond recreating, and I know the class isn't only focused on recreating what you've done in the real world. It's about how can we augment it? What can we create that's new? Yeah, and CG took a huge risk quitting the job and moving here to rebuild the business. Yeah, and that's something else. Right, so that little trifecta, right? The strengths you have, the fears you have, and the risks you're willing to take. That is the only thing that is exactly what defines how far you're going to get.
Yeah, Barry, I want to throw something in there.
Please do, man. Yeah.
I've taught many business Igniter courses where lots of businesses are starting up, and it is always interesting to me that some of the hangups or some of the blocks that people have. For example, going to the county and filing a fictitious business name statement, or actually launching a website, or deciding on a logo, or starting to print the business cards so they can hand them out. It's kind of like, it's easy to talk about these things. For some people, it's easy to plan, it's easy to be working on it. But some of those steps are like, okay, like I'm putting it out there in the real world. I'm hanging my shingle on Broad Street, boom. That's huge for people. And there's a big resistance to actually do that, because once you do that, it's like, all right, I'm here for everyone to see, and I feel vulnerable. And so I could see some parallels in right now where people are pivoting, where people are stepping outside their comfort zone to launch an e-commerce store. You can talk about it, and I know I should do it and get all this input, but we're at a stage where we're doing it. And then it's like, my products are online. Go online at www.com and buy my products. That's a big step, and there's a lot of fear involved in that. So.
Yeah, it's massive. And yeah, and I read through some of the other comments while Rob was sharing that, and thank you. Yeah, somebody else had written, burning myself out, being an entrepreneur, tying myself down into one place, leaving where they live, just leaving the city. It's massive. So yeah, know that the mindset piece that I'm talking about and that I'm asking you to, at least for this week, reach out to, touch, if it feels okay to at least touch it, wrap your fingers around it. And if it feels like that feels okay, wrapping your fingers around it, invite it into your heart for this week. Within that willingness to be open about this, mind, body, spirit, educational, emotions, finances, attention, the more open you are in all those areas, the more can grow out of this thing. And we don't know what it is right now. We don't know what it is. My experience tells me, and my experience shows me that it's something bigger and better. And I couldn't have defined it at first. So it's 1 week. It's 1 week where we may not be out among people anyway, going to events. Invite that newness into you. Good. And along those lines, I don't want this slide to appear mean, forceful, or anything, but it's an invitation to quit going after things you already know how to get. Some of us are forced to do that because we don't have the option to go after what we already get. But the invitation is, even if you do right now for this week, quit going after things that you already know how to get and be childlike, reporter level curious about what else is there? What else can I do with my skills, with my strengths? And yes, with my fears, what else does it position me to do to serve my audience, or a new audience, or a hybrid, the audience I've always served and a new audience? Yeah. Good. Another invitation for this week is treat your time like it's precious, like it's the precious gift that it is. As entrepreneurs, we have some time right now, but that time is throttled by other things. It's throttled by, well, if you have kids, those kids aren't in school right now, right? So there's more time there. And we have time given back to us from where we may have commuted to, or opening up a business, talking with customers, ordering stock, managing employees. We have that time back. So it's a shift. It's a new balance. One thing we do all have, and we share this in common, is we have 24 hours in every single day. And I want to offer you something here. It is a schedule that I use and I teach my clients all the time. All my clients are entrepreneurs. But what I teach is this idea of this account that's filled with 24 hours every single day. And how you handle that, what you do with it, that is what defines how you go to sleep at night, feeling what new assets you have. You know, this is a culture where there's so much available to learn that I don't know anybody who can afford the luxury of going to sleep knowing the exact same amount of stuff that they knew when they woke up in the morning. It is so possible to learn. This week, no doubt, will be a massive influx of new stuff to learn. And take it in. You can't afford the waste to not learn something new during the day. It's impossible. And that's every day. So to that end, I'm going to cue just something up I want to share right after this. Good. To that end, here's what I really like doing every single day. And I share this. Let me get the right screen. I have too many screens up here to try and run this meeting. There we go. I want this one up. Let me share this with you guys. This is something I do every day, and I offer this just as a template. These are my numbers. I offer you to grab and recreate this with numbers that you have. 24 hours every day that come in. I do 2 hours personal development, exercise, education, health. Usually do these in the morning. I'm an early riser. This morning was 5:30, and I had a long weekend, but 5:30 is a great time for me. And I multitask these things. You know, and I've had people say to me, doesn't it just suck to have a schedule this tight? But I will offer to you that freedom lives within a structure. freedom lives within a structured schedule and agenda. So 2 hours personal development, 4 hours of money-making activities, and that's working with clients, writing proposals, content creation for my clients, for my business, for my programs, and then running the business infrastructure, working with my assistants and just kind of looking ahead. So 4 hours every day of money-making activities. And I know this is the one that's probably a struggle right now for folks who have businesses and don't have this. What do I do? This is why you're going to be able to modify this for your numbers. This next one is, this may stay pretty steady, or it may change too. 4 hours of family time. Again, this is my work. These are my numbers, but meals, games, home projects, paying bills, recreation, making stuff, home ec, all this stuff. This is 4 hours every single day. This stuff fits in. 2 hours a day. And this is the one that I think you guys will probably focus on even more right now. And that's swinging for the fences. What can I do that I'm not doing? For me, it looks like connecting with people. I use LinkedIn just about every day. I jump on for a half hour. And that's what I was telling you at the beginning. I just kind of ask people, what can I do for you? Here's something, an opportunity I have. You want to talk about this? I remember when just all these sentences, and I use these to kind of just start the swinging for the fences stuff. I ask myself sometimes, if I had so-and-so on the phone, what would I say to them? And if it feels good enough, I reach out on LinkedIn and just send them an email. Just say, hey, can we connect? And man, the people I've connected with by doing this, kind of remarkable. You guys all have a network, and whether you've leveraged it in your life or not, I heard, I forget the name, is it Leela maybe, who's been in Downeyville for 6 generations, something like. The network there is so rich, and those people have all moved on to somewhere else in life, and they're still part of your network. So whatever you can do to really nurture, water, and grow your network, powerful. 6 hours of sleep, I don't need much. Maybe it's because no sugar, no caffeine. I don't do that stuff, and I get 6 hours of sleep and I wake up just ready to go. And this is where the final 6 hours, that adds up to 18 if you did the math on that. And the final 6 hours is flex time, mostly downtime, but always fun. Hiking, mountain biking, hanging out with my kid, doing art, building a studio, my studio under my house for broadcasting, all these things. So this is what can actually happen in 24 hours if you do it, and the big question is, what are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do with your day? How's it going to look? And the last piece I want to offer you guys is just in the form of a quick video I want to share. And I'm just going to share this. I just want to add audio to this too, because I'm going to play a video for you guys real quick. And I want you to think about this on the end of the mindset piece today. And then I'm going to hand it back to Rob to finish up the day.
Time, in indefinite progress of existence and events. The past, present, and future as a whole. Let's explore.
Sorry about that, you guys. I had the wrong thing going for 1 second there. Nope, sorry. My bad. Grabbed the wrong video. This is the one. Nope. That's what I did have. Should have had this queued up.
Time.
Nope. Sorry, I didn't queue this up. Here we go. Perfect. And I still got the sound shared. You guys should be able to hear that now. Thank you.
These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's 1 jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities like chores and tending to our pets and shopping will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities, and another 720 days will go to community activities like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?
Yeah, I love that one. Really something else. You guys, I will end this by just saying online has less friction than anything you've created in the real world. And unlike what you've created in the real world, which took hammers and nails and signs and tax forms and physical labor, the biggest currency online is your authenticity, your willingness to serve and connect, vulnerability. And I saw some of the fears around that. I will tell you in ending this, though, the past doesn't have to equal the future. It can be a great bridge to the future. And everything you learn during this class and everything you do online can be a part of your business when you go back on. So it's not, why am I going to put all this work in just to create something when we're going to be back to normal, depending on what flavor of story you personally like, anywhere from a week to never, and anywhere in between. You'll always be able to bring what you create during this program into the business. This week is an invitation that you checked yes when the invitation came. You said you RSVP'd that you were going to be here. My hope for you is that the week is glorious and filled with possibility. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Barry. And it's been really amazing having you. I'm inspired, and I think you really set the tone for moving forward with this class. So really appreciate it.
Cool.
And feel free to, bow out or hang in. And,
yeah, I'm going to bow out. I got an appointment here at the bottom, so I'm going to
okay.
Talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much.
All right, cool. Okay, well, that was really perfect. Thanks. I'm just so impressed by all the people coming together and helping us out with this. And Barry is teaching me about Zoom too. I've done lots of Zoom stuff, but yeah, he's taking it to the next level. So we don't have to continue this until 10:30. There can definitely be some question and answer, but I do want to take care of a few kind of housekeeping things. This class is clearly, we're going to throw a lot of things at you. Today was a lot of heart-based and inspiration, and the next classes are going to be more sign up for this, connect that, take pictures of this, get a consult, like lots of boots on the ground, action-based activities. So get ready for that. Tomorrow is Corey, who is actually going to be presenting from Taipei, but he is a local and he's traveling worldwide. He's done a lot of presentations with the NC Tech Connect and is just really technical, good presenter. And we'll be talking about platforms. So there's Shopify or Square Up or Etsy or Facebook Marketplace. There's all these different options that you can choose from. And I just encourage you to pick one that feels right. Even if you have, let's say, a WordPress site, hooking up something like WooCommerce is complicated and can take a while, especially if you're doing it yourself and not hiring a consultant. Even if you're hiring a consultant, it might take a period of time. So there are ways to get up and running quickly. And I think that time is, I know, time is of the essence for e-commerce. So what you could be building may not be the e-commerce solution you have in 2 years from now. But right now, in my judgment, it's important to get up and running quickly and start selling. What Barry was talking about as far as what your story is, who your audience is, what differentiates your products. You may not get all of those answers by tomorrow, like where Barry said it's fine to be expansive and not know the answers. Great, yes it is. It's a good time for that. But meanwhile, if we're talking about setting up a merchant account or figuring out about how you're going to, someone places an order, great, now you have to ship it to them. What shipping service are you going to use? That is going to be the same for no matter what product you're selling. So just trust in yourself and just go through the motions of, signing up for a Square Up account and doing all those, hooking up your bank account with your PayPal account, those types of things. Because as you start thinking about what it is you're going to be selling, you're still going to need a merchant account. You're still going to need to ship product. You're still going to need these types of things. So just trust in the process. And tomorrow, Corey is going to be really going over a lot of the mechanics and choices of e-commerce and kind of going from like easy to hard, where Square Up might be really easy and WordPress might be more complicated, but we'll cover that. And I also want to mention, if you look at businesses that, restaurants in particular, and now that we're in the phase 2 of the COVID situation, some businesses that don't have an online store all of a sudden found a need for e-commerce, so people can do curbside pickup. And so that's not a traditional, like what you think about, hey, I have an online store. I'm going to sell my widget for this price to these people, and that's my store. But right now, people are, I personally am wanting to like, hey, I'd like to order this. Can I pick it up? I don't want to touch the pen to sign the credit card receipt. I just want to drive up and have someone masked and gloved and hand me the thing, and I can say thank you and give them, give them a tip. Cool. So that also is e-commerce, and that not everyone is thinking about e-commerce in that way. So that's just another component of your business to think about. It's unfortunate what's going on here in the economy and the health and all this. And it feels like, yay, we're starting to open up again. Yay, it's raining, awesome. We might not have a horrible fire season, but I think it was 22 days last year that some businesses were closed in fire season. And then after fire season becomes fall and flu season, typically, again, after that. I don't want to be negative or put negative energy out there, but I think we're all starting to see how the e-commerce component is a component of your operation. And it's good to have it in place, and good to have that savvy, and good to have all of these things set up. And if by June 1st you're not having, some full-blown awesome virtual shopping experience with all your inventory on it, it's really good to have the mechanics set up, to have your own internal knowledge about how to use this, get comfortable with it. There's a learning curve, you know, you will make mistakes. It's okay. And, you know, if we just start off this way, we're making small mistakes. Your customers are forgiving. It's an emergency situation. So it's just like, let's just get going. Let's just do it. And we'll see where we're at the end of the month. But it's just important to keep showing up to class, putting the time in. And yeah, Teresa said, is there something we should be doing right now? And I did want to make a suggestion of picking some of your products, and maybe some of you are service business, but picking a handful, let's say 10 products that you're gonna, right now, you're planning on launching with. You could change your mind, but just pick a group of products. And you know they're gonna go online, and you know you're gonna need a picture, you know you're gonna need a description, and thankfully Mike Moores is gonna be helping us out with product copy, and he's a pro at that. He writes for Yakima and Arc'teryx, a lot of outdoor companies, and he's great at, like, here's a shoe, and in 20 words he makes you want to buy that shoe somehow. Amazing. So he's going to be helping you with that product copy, and as well as Aaron Thiem is going to be talking about product marketing, and we have Adam Trowbridge is also helping with marketing, because marketing is a big part of it. You add these products up and people aren't going to just magically come and buy them from you. You have to market it, and once they get to your site, you have to have the right copy and all that kind of thing. So just really start collecting assets. Like, what am I going to sell? And what kind of pricing is there going to be? You could look at what other people, like Leah, for example, I know you own the nature, you sell nature and outdoorsy type products. So there's lots of other people selling that stuff online. What are they doing? How are they doing it? What sites do you really like? What sites do you really not like? To inform your decision about how you're going to approach this, and just get out of the gate. How are you going to launch your store? What's that set of products? Also, if shipping and fulfillment is, it's a big component to this, and it affects the price. So if you sold, let's say, an awesome painted feather, and you sold a bowling ball, it might be smart to start selling the feather, because you could just put that in a little package, mail it. It wouldn't cost that much. It wouldn't raise the price. You're not shipping, you're not carrying 10 bowling balls to the store and waiting in line at the post office with 10 bowling balls. So make it easy on yourself. Make it affordable for your customer, and that'll lessen your curve to getting shopping. So I would say that is a good assignment before tomorrow. Look at your products and copy. You can start exploring some of the e-commerce platforms that I spoke about. And really, since it's so fresh, what Barry is talking about as far as your mindset and what it is, how you're going to pivot. So if you sell hairbrushes, it's going to be really hard to compete on price. It just is going to be really hard. So what is your story? You're still going to sell hairbrushes, but what is your story? Is it, pamper yourself, quarantine, have a Zoom call and dress up in costumes and have fun with your friends kit? Or what is it that is going to be unique and fun and tell your story and reflect what who you are and what your business is. And yes, ultimately, you're still selling hairbrushes, but it's in a new way. It may be lessons on how to fix your hair. It might, you know, 100 uses for hairbrushes that you never knew you had. You know, just there's all kinds of ways you can go with it. It's time to get creative and know that that can take time. And without, you know, repeating myself too much, just get the basics and the mechanics down, and you can build on that other stuff. The class has been designed to really have a lot of information because there's a lot of moving parts. So you may feel like, wow, all this stuff is getting thrown at me. I don't have time to process it. Well, that's what the resource page is for. These classes are going to be online video, and I will send an email out how to access those videos. Honestly, we haven't figured it out yet, but it's being recorded, and we'll make it available to you. And 2 weeks from now, you're going to be like, oh yeah, they said that in that class. Let me go back there and look that back up. Another thought I had is that this is a special group. We are forming a community right here. This is monumental in a way. Remember back in the day when the coronavirus, and see Beverly, remember when the coronavirus hit and we all pulled together and we launched all these stores in a short amount of time? Well, we're a part of that. And I think that that is special. I'm curious if people would like to start some type of interactive Facebook group with this group so we can share thoughts online. If I could like just maybe put in chat yes or no, or if there's a different platform you'd like to use, that would be, could definitely do that. We have a couple yeses. Cool. So what I'd like to do, and if everyone could find Sierra Commons on Facebook and like Sierra Commons, then I think it'll be easier for me to add you to a Facebook group I'll create off of Sierra Commons. So go to Facebook, like Sierra Commons, and I'll put together a group. So, you know, lots of Facebook groups people have. So I think that should do it. If anyone has any questions, I'm totally willing to hang out, ask questions. I know people have a lot of work to do. So if you feel like you need to get at it, 8:30 tomorrow morning, Corey is going to be here to teach you the fabulous ins and outs of the technology side of things. So I'm going to hang out. Thank you all for stepping up and doing this. This is huge. So a round of applause for everyone that said yes to this class. And just look for more emails from me. And I'm going to hang out here. And if not, get to work. Thank you so much. Teresa, you have a question, I think, or that was a high five?
Well,
I'm
can
sorry,
you hear me? Oh, I'm muted.
Oh, I just unmuted you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Excellent. This was great. And remarkably for me, it felt very emotional. And I think very often when I'm on the precipice of doing something I know I need to do, but I've hesitated to do, it's the feeling that comes up for me. So it feels like a breakthrough, and it also feels really challenging, but I'm excited, and thank you so much.
Oh yeah, you know, you said something earlier in the class that really struck a chord with me, is about asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I have issue with too. So you're here right now. We have SBDC one-to-one consultants that can meet with you, the Rebound team of consultants. on the resources page on Sierra Commons for this class. It's all of the partner organizations, the chambers, the cities, all these downtown associations, the ERC, all these places have resources for you. There's links, and you are affiliated, associated with them. I know your business is, I'm sure, a member of the Nevada City Chamber of Commerce. You know, asking for help. People want to help. They want your business to be around. They want you to thrive. And this is like, bam, we're just working really hard in the short amount of time to just, you know, bump us up and respond to what's going on. So I commend you for doing it. And yeah, it's emotional for me too.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know I
Anyone
could.
else want to chime in? Yes, the Rebound Nevada County, hashtag Rebound Nevada County, hashtag Nevada County Strong is another one that is being used. Let's sell tickets. Tickets, memberships. I don't know if we're going to specifically learn that. Tomorrow you can ask Corey about that. There's a little bit, some advanced platforms that can sell subscriptions. I would look to something, maybe Shopify has something like that. Another thing you could use would be Eventbrite. Yeah. And anyone else? Oh, there you go. CG?
Hi. Oh, I need to change that so it says Christy. Hi there.
Hi, Christy.
So I'm trying to prep everything I can so that I can get the most out of this, out of these sessions. And so I've gone a little bit farther and done some of the things that you guys are saying. So I'm just kind of wondering, I have a feeling that I should probably talk to someone separately also, because I have a lot of stuff listed on a Shopify site that I started, but it's all over the place. I haven't actually connected anything to anything. Like, I guess I did it wrong, but I have a lot of the copy. I've got a lot of photos, and then I realized I need to make a lot of changes. But no matter what, I want to make sure that I'm prepping so I get as much out of it as I can. And right now I'm doing it on my phone, so I'm not quite getting everything on the sides that I think people are seeing, and I'm going to try and fix that. But so I guess I'm kind of wondering, in my position, what's the best thing for me to do? Like, I sent a message in the chat that said, should we be loading a bunch of things to show you, or should we come up with all the questions we have, or is that something totally separate? Because I also need to learn all the things that you have on the syllabus, because this is all really new to me. So I'm just kind of wondering what's the best things for me to do.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So I run on lists. You know, I'm a list maker. I love making lists. It sounds like you have already made some steps in uploading, and you know, maybe there's some technical issues. There's technical help. It almost seems at this point where if you were to do write a list of outcomes that you want, as opposed to and more strategic than tactical. I would like to engage my viewers when they come to my homepage. I would like to feature 3 of my top selling products. That's, you know, things like that. I guess that's a little technical.
Yeah, that's actually beyond what I even know how to ask.
Yeah. Another, and I really encourage everyone to do this, is if you said Shopify, right?
Yes, it's Shopify. It's not up yet. It's not online.
Find another Shopify store that you love.
Oh.
If my store could look like this, I'd be very happy.
Okay.
Because then the copywriters, the technical people, they use this plugin, they did this, they set it up this way. And so once you have, like, here's a product, here's the picture, here's the description, here's the price, you can make that present in a variety of ways. So it's just a matter of presentation and how you want to present. So looking at other stores and finding what you like is a good step.
Is
So
there
you
like
can-
an index? I mean, how do you do that? How do you find other Shopify stores and know that they're Shopify stores?
Well, you could go on Shopify, hopefully in their marketplace, or you can look at stores and you'll start to say, oh, that kind of has that Shopify vibe. Oftentimes at the bottom of the website, it's like powered by Shopify.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, well, I was looking at Kit Busy maybe has in town is Shopify. I'm not sure.
Okay. Also, Teresa, I love your shop. I didn't know that was you. I have been visiting my parents here for years, and that was the shop I always came to specifically. So nice to meet you.
So it's JJ Jackson, by the way. I love that.
JJ Jackson, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to just go through a couple of questions here. Modeling, thank you. Modeling is a term for looking at other sites and whether you want to model that after. A networking site for business owners in the there is a website about, gosh, I think it's GVNC Eat or something like that, which has all the different open restaurants. I don't know of the community place for online for local businesses, but there is a lot of Facebook groups. If you go to Rebound Nevada County on Facebook, there's a lot of activity there, or they would point you to the right place. Liquid Gold Juicery. So check out liquidgoldjuicery.com for the Shopify example. So that is, so Thalia, I unmuted you. Could you share what your experience with Shopify is?
So we had somebody, can you hear me?
Yep.
We had somebody run us through, so we have a little bit of help, but basically just uploading our products, and it was made really simple. We just had to put our price points and different sizes. We're selling infused ghees, which is just like a clarified butter, but we're putting different herbs and stuff in. So we wanted to be able to get our products to people all around the country. Our juice we just sell locally. So we were like, how can we get something to the people all over? So we started these infused ghees, and so we uploaded them onto our Shopify store. And then from that point on, they make it really simple to keep track of your inventory. And then when you want to ship it, they give you the cheapest shipping option. And you can print your own shipping label. I just bring it over to PostNet. They help to package it and send it wherever you need. We're really new to it. We just launched last week.
Wow. And did you have you made a sale yet?
We have, we've actually, I'm really proud to say we had like 12 sales in less than a week, and feel good about it.
Wow. What was it like making that first sale?
Super exciting. And I actually downloaded the Shopify app, and every time you get a sale, it's like ching, cha-ching.
Awesome.
Cha-ching. So it's really fun.
Yeah. So could you share, how comfortable are you with the computer? Are you beginning, intermediate, or advanced?
I'm not an expert, and that's why we did seek some help to get the store set up. We did trade with a friend, which was really special. But Yeah, so both my business partner and I, you know, we've grown up with computers, so there is an advantage there, but we weren't really familiar with how to start a store or how to start a website. So with Shopify, you can do both. And yeah, so that was really cool for us. We set up a whole new website when we set up our shop. But yeah, it was pretty simple once you get the hang of it. There's all these little modifications you have to make once started. Definitely, like we found that there was stuff that was already set, like it was giving our customers free shipping on orders over $50, and we were like, no, so we had to like go back and make some changes. But we called the support team, and they were really helpful, walked us through everything, sent us an email afterwards, so if we like forgot what we talked about on the phone, they gave us all instructions through email. So yeah, they were really helpful.
Wow. And so what do you pay per month for the service?
I think we got a special, and it's like you didn't have to, it was like first 3 months were a really good deal, but it was around $20, I think, a month. Maybe it was $14.99. I actually don't remember.
Awesome. And wow, phone support. Amazing.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about Shopify and some of the other platforms is that they integrate with Facebook or Instagram or some of these other platforms. So if you have your store, it makes it easier and streamlined to share on social media. And you'll learn about that more in the social or the marketing side of things. So that's one of the advantages of using a platform like that, because it has everything you need to get up and running, and then it helps you market as well.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
Cool. So we're winding down here. Does anyone else have anything you'd like to add? And thank you, Thalia, for sharing that.
No problem. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Crime Watch, huh? The monthly fees, I am not sure if he has a breakdown of all of those things. I've talked to him about focusing on level of complexity as opposed to pricing and stuff like that. But I think a simple Google search, or I can get some kind of price comparison. You do have to be aware that there's all these different ways that businesses make money from you selling your product. Some of it can be on our platform, and it's the monthly fee. And for every transaction, we get this percent. And. Oh, you want that? You want reports? Oh, that's the next level up. So you do have to be aware of what they're offering and what they're charging. But I would say for this course, for the big June 1st deadline, it's important to speed is important. Your learning on how to do this is important. And if I would have, if you make some $100 mistake, that's a bummer. Like, you don't want to lose $100. But if you just kind of say, this is a startup and this is a learning curve and I will make mistakes, it's marketing, or that's, you're investing in your business. If you look at it like that, then, okay, maybe I pay the yearly subscription and now I'm saving 25% a month. But you might not want to do that for your first month, or, you know what I'm saying? So forgive yourself, allow yourself some leeway to make some mistakes, and oops, I just blew up $50. That's a bummer, but we could potentially be talking about the survival of your business. And you do have to make some investments in some places. And hopefully Corey will be able to help you through that. So Shopify, $29 a month. And you're gonna have to pay a percentage of card sales anywhere. So we're all learning about this. We'll be a lot better off at the end of the week knowing more about this. And Friday is the presenters are coming back for Q&A. So you'll have put your week of, doing all this work. You're going to have a lot of questions, and that'll be a good time to ask those questions directly of the instructors. So with that, we're a little bit over time, but I'd just like to say thank you for showing up. And we will see you tomorrow, 8:30, and there'll be an email with the recording and the Rebound team and how that whole thing works a little bit later. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.